Welcome. Today I'm going to read you a story called The Rat. This has nothing to do with the fairies we've done previously. This is just inspired by a friend of mine who has a bit of a problem with a rat in her garden. So I thought we'd write a little story about it. So here we are. The rat yawned and stuck his head out from deep under the wooden shed. He could see the chickens pecking the ground around the coop. Oh, how fat and delicious they look! His tummy began to rumble. He crawled out of his hidey hole and strolled boldly over to the chickens. He was quite disappointed when the chickens ignored him and kept on pecking. "Can't you see how ferocious I am?" said the rat. "Why aren't you afraid of me? I eat chickens." The chickens kept right on pecking. "I said I eat chickens!" Still, the chickens did not respond. "No matter, I shall sit and wait patiently until you notice me." All morning the rat waited and his tummy rumbled loudly. Next door's kitten appeared on the garden wall above him and lay there contentedly, allowing his tail to hang down over the wall. After a while, the rat glanced up at the lazy little kitten and said, "Why do you lie there? Can't you see I'm a huge ferocious rat? I eat kittens." The kitten mewed, stretched and went back to sleep. "I said I eat kittens!" The kitten paid him no mind. The rat in his hungry tummy sat and sulked until a tiny sparrow chanced by, with its beak buried in the soft green grass of the striped lawn. "Be careful, little bird. I eat sparrows," said the rat menacingly. The sparrow looked up at the fat rat. "I eat worms," and buried his beak in the grass again. "I'm a ferocious rat, can't you see that?" He was getting angry now. "I'm a hungry sparrow, can't you see that?" Disgruntled with the kitten and the sparrow, the rat stood up and strutted around the chicken coop like a proud peacock, puffing out his chest to make himself appear much bigger and stronger. He even stuck his nose through the mesh. The smallest of the three chickens jumped up and pecked him on his nose. So shocked was the rat that he ran off and hid in his hidey hole, nursing his poorly sore nose. The next morning, the rat crept out of his hiding place and climbed onto the top of the chicken coop, looking down at them like a huge king surveying his kingdom. "Now they have to notice me." Yet again the chickens paid no attention to him. Puffing out his chest even more until he could hardly breathe, the rat strolled across the entire coop. In the corner he saw one of the kittens sitting all alone, snuggled into his feathers, and his tummy began to rumble like thunder. Licking his lips, the rat stuck a paw tentatively through the mesh protecting the chickens and promptly got it stuck. At the same moment, the dog from the house across the road came bounding into the garden, barking and jumping and making such a fuss. The rat froze. This was something bigger even than himself. The dog kept jumping at the coop, wanting the rat to play with him. He jumped and jumped until his persistence released the rat's paws. Quick as a wink, the rat scampered off to his hole in the garden shed. He didn't come out until the dog went home. By then it was dark and his tummy was still rumbling. In the morning the rat stuck his head out again, glanced all around, and when he saw it was safe, he crept towards the coop. All was quiet. The chickens were snuggled up against each other, fast asleep. "Now's my chance." Sneaking up to the mesh and closing the birds, he managed to dig under the mesh and slipped into the coop. "Whoosh, lobberchops," he said, drooling over his dinner. The rat was about to stick his teeth into the back of one of the chickens when something stuck into his bottom. "Oop, that hurt." "Who are you?" he snapped. "What do you hit me with?" "I'm a hedgehog and I didn't hit you with anything. Those are my quills. You were in my way." "I'm a ferocious rat and I eat hedgehogs." The hedgehog laughed. "Fat chance," and shuffled away. A human came out of the house with a broom and brushed the rat away from the coop. "Go away, you're not having my chickens." The rat showed the human his teeth and tried to attack her. Instead, she attacked him with the broom. "Eat that, Mr. Rat." Gathering his dented pride, poorly nose and sore paw, the rat scampered off with the handle of the broom stuck firmly between his teeth. As soon as the sun came up the next day, the rat packed his bags and left his hole under the shed. The chickens, the sparrow, the dog and the hedgehog watched gleefully as the doleful rat with his rumbling tummy crawled away with his head and tail between his legs. With one last look at the cackling chickens, the rat left the garden. Perhaps I'm not so ferocious after all. Copyright Lucia Keates 2021. I hope you enjoyed that story. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.